She said, hey, bossa nova, baby, keep on working, cause I ain't got time for that. She said, go bossa nova, baby, keep on dancing, or I'll find myself another cat.
What's up, Titan Slayers? By popular demand, here's the full Titan Quest II Tier 4 build update. The Might Bow Exploder, the Vampire and the Crit Shocker all got massive buffs with a new level cap and skills. Let's see how strong they've become. Let's start with the Might Bow Exploder. This build is a might based bow build that uses basic attacks with fire explosion to have enemies burn. Mobs explode with the use of the passive combustion. At level 45 this build is making a big leap in terms of power. Tier 4 gives access to perfect warfare actives and passives. Frenzied Rage gives our rage mechanics a big boost. Not only increases it the rage effect drastically, it also increases the rage duration and gives a little extra strike damage. One of the build's weaknesses was definitely mobility. This one has been negated to a degree, because now we got the active skill Valor. We also have Ring of Flame of Earth Mastery, which works similarly. Just activate it and get a speed and damage boost for a few seconds. We can actually activate Ring of Flame, and when it runs out, we activate Valor. That way we permanently have a damage and speed boost. Ring of Flame only deals damage inside the ring though, whereas Valor increases damage little and heightens the crit chance. Sadly, Earth doesn't have that much to offer on Tier 4. We get just the passive Cremation, which increases the burn chance and power. We don't actually need burn chance, because every second hit is a volley shot. Those shots have almost no ailment chance. What matters is our primary attack modifier called Flame Explosion. That does all the ailments for us. The build benefits a lot from the increased burn power though. At level 45 we also got enough points to spare to put some into the dodge. Just 13 points is enough to have a cooldown charge, teleport and max out dash attack. We dodge around constantly anyway to perfectly reposition us for shooting at enemies, so that is a big damage increase. The build has some passive points to spare, so I boosted the defense a little. 4 points in Warfare's versatile defense gives some good resistances, and also the feat movement to have a nice movement skill cooldown for our dodge. I also jammed one random point in Earth's stable barrier, cause why not? I actually played the build as an ailment build at first, but later I discovered that crits deal a lot more damage. So I switched the modifier for weapon proficiency towards crit chance instead of ailment chance. Same thing goes for Earth's passive called Earth Wielder. Use crit chance and attack damage here. Speaking of crits, let's look at the items. Those change a lot too. I found a bow with some base crit chance. The build definitely needs that in order to shoot crit arrows more regularly. This is also great with volley shots. The bow has base pierce damage, which gets converted by Earth enchantment anyway. You need a bow with flat fire damage, the higher the better, and also 30% or more crit chance. A big percent fire damage also makes it perfect, so blazing is kind of a must, because that prefix only rolls on weapons. The bow here actually has the perfect affixes and really packs a punch. The armor just got replaced by better ones. Might armor mostly has the neat stat of giving a percent to thermic and natural resistances, which gives the build a formidable defense. For torso armor, go for good resistances, health regen and or vigor. Shoulders need crit chance and ailment power. For arms, mine here are not that good. You go for might, attack speed and percent thermic damage. Boots are best if you get both the off phasing roll, that reduced movement skill cooldown, and the off journeying. You definitely want both of those on your boots. It is not that hard to find after some boss runs at the Ichthian King. For the amulet you can go for anything good that you want, but you really want ailment duration, because that only rolls on amulets. For rings, go for crit chance and ailment power. I found this awesome ring that gives flat 19 fire damage, which is insane. In the first version of the game, the maximum flat damage on rings was 4. That's a giant increase. With that ring and the high damage of the bow, the build now packs quite a punch and crits around half of the time. Doing your damage only with ailments is not enough. In my first version of the build, I thought ailments were better. The reality is that they don't even compare to crits. Now the build kind of does both crits and ailments. The ailment tick for 400 is not that bad, considering that ailment damage is very underwhelming. More on that in my damage video. The playstyle of the build didn't change that much. You get around the map faster with the 2 skills that make you run faster and the improved dodge. The build packs quite a punch and still works the same as before. You go through mobs like a hot knife through butter. Bosses are not the strongest suit of the build, but it definitely improved a lot. I adjusted my boss strategy. As a might build, we can get close to a boss without problem because of their high armor and resistances. We also got enough vigor to back it up, so no need to be afraid of getting in close. Once we are, we spam our ring of flame that deals damage to the boss. When the ring runs out, use Valor and vice versa. Getting very close to the boss makes more of our volley shots hit, because bosses are big and almost every arrow hits them. Use rain of arrows constantly so that it rains down on the boss continuously between your shots. This also increases the damage by a lot. The clever use of some dodges with the damage increase rounds out the build quite nicely. The build got a lot stronger than in my first version. It is definitely a laid-back, easy-to-play build that works well against mobs and okay against bosses. We come to another build that I hold dear, the vampire build. This one has vigor actually as the main attribute, because the build focuses on vitality damage. This damage type gets scaled by the highest secondary attribute. Vigor actually increases all 3 of those. We also get a big health pool as a side effect. That way we can make use of all the insane lifesteal. This makes the build basically unkillable. The build dodges in, gets a damage boost from dash attack, then uses sweeping strike to reduce the enemy's vitality resistance, hit for some basic attacks, and start the cycle all over with the dodge. Each dodge is used to position ourselves so that we maximize our damage with the sweeping strike and the follow-up basic attacks. Tier 4 makes this build a lot stronger, no big surprise. For Rogue, there's the passive Surgical Precision, which gives a good increase to crit chance and crit damage. We use those exact modifiers to further increase the passive's bonuses. A 90% increased crit chance in total and 43 crit damage increase is a big improvement. I actually reskilled a feat at Rogue's Tier 1, Accuracy. Instead of crit damage, I now use the feat High Crit Chance. We want to maximize our crit chance, more on that later. Tier 4 also has not much to offer for Warfare. Here we skill Frenzied Rage. Also use Rage Overflow and Duration. Leave Deft Hands at 6 for crit chance. Warfare has a neat tier 4 passives for the build called Unyielding. Since the build's gimmick is to have a huge health pool, this one increases our health to 4.3k. The feats Health and Health for Vigor are really good here, because Vigor is our main stat. It only gives 100 health though. We can't use Warfare's awesome tier 4 ability Valor here. It doesn't work with Vanish. If you activate Vanish, Valor also goes on the same cooldown. It only works with Earth Mastery. Also max out Preparation for maximum crit chance, some ailment chance and conservation. Flicker needs 2 cooldown charges in order to teleport across the map all the time. The items changed quite a bit. The weapon is the most interesting change. I used to play a fast 2-handed agility weapon. that had crit chance and flat vitality damage. I gambled for some daggers, because I was missing some epic items. During 2 gambling sessions I found some nice monster infrequent daggers that had flat vitality damage on them, and some built-in crit chance and flat PS damage. These 2 daggers really work well with the build and kind of suit a vampire. We attack really fast, deal mostly crits and shred mobs insanely fast by using the build's basic combo. The kill speed for bosses is okay and not super fast, but this build is unkillable with all the life leech and constant crits. I can highly recommend that one, and also the gamble for some nice daggers. Let's take a look at the crit shocker and how it improved. This build actually got the most drastic increase of all 3 builds. The build now actually shocks. You can say I was shocked to see how well the build performs with the latest changes. At tier 3 there's Lightning Evoker, max that out, is the most important one for this build. The feat Rage says whenever Rage overflows. That means you hit the Rage cap of 16 and then shoot an enemy. You have a 15% chance to hit a random enemy with a lightning strike. This one triggers all the time. Also put a few points in the tier 4 passive Lightning Bringer to use the feat Critical Hits. Also max out Storm Nimbus and put 2 out of 3 in Thunderstorm. This one increases the lightning strike damage. This is not the same as lightning damage. Lightning strike damage only gets scaled by the passives and the Storm Nimbus modifier. Our lightning strikes deal lots of damage and can also crit now. They trigger all the time because we shoot hundreds of arrows in a few seconds. I've seen lightning strike crits of 12,000 damage, which is absurd considering that it just triggers automatically and also all the time. The build also uses Frenzied Rage, of course, and this build actually benefits from it the most. Storm and Warfare are the Rage masteries, and we have a Rage cap of 16. This gives an insane amount of attack speed. Pair that with a good crit chance and you got a recipe for disaster. I actually maxed out Veiler because it is insane with this build. Max out enhanced crits for 150% increased crit chance and a 30% crit damage multiplier. This is an absurd damage increase, but that's not all. Frenzy increases the total damage by 70%. We take 24% more damage, but who cares? We don't take damage anyway. Using Veiler and then just fire away and dodge makes quick work out of mobs and bosses. The lightning strikes also hit a random enemy. When there's just one boss around, he gets struck by lightning strikes pretty much constantly. For the items, I didn't even find much better items for this build than I already had. The bow is an exception. I got a new one. The old got replaced by a straight upgrade. The new bow is exactly the same as the old one, with the exact same stats, but only more base damage and a higher crit chance, and also higher weapon percent damage. Notice how it gives flat strike damage as well? This damage also gets converted to lightning damage because of our aura Storm Nimbus. More on that in my damage video. I got some better chest armor too. Woohoo! Nothing too exciting. Well, I'm still on the lookout for some nice items. Wings can drop with high flat damage now, but I need perfect ones for this build. But like the ones I have right now, only with increased flat lightning damage. Alright, those are the updated builds. Stronger, faster and in some cases completely broken. I'm really curious, which one are you running? Or if you found something even crazier? Drop it in the comments. I love seeing your builds. Thanks for watching Titan Slayers. And if you enjoyed this one, you will definitely want to catch the next video, where I'll break down how damage actually works in Titan Quest 2. See you there.